Hi, the next tool I want to talk about is the trim tool. And if you look at the trim tool, it's the little pair of scissors. And if I hover over it, you will see that it says trim tool. And then it's right below rotate, depending on how your screen is laid out. Right? So what I've done here is I've drawn a series of lines that just all intersect each other, and with the trim tool we'll trim to the nearest boundary. And so we'll just come in, let me zoom in even a little bit more, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I want to just trim off this line that's right here, and I want to trim it off to this boundary, all I have to do is select the trim tool, the scissors, and I can cut it off, and it'll cut off perfectly at that. Now if I wanted to make that a nice corner, I could trim that one, and that cuts off perfectly. I could do the same thing down here. Here, let's cut off this one. I'll cut that off. Now, the trim tool works between any intersections of shapes, intersections of lines, anything that intersects. So if I were to take this trim tool and click in here, you'll note that I've trimmed in between these two boundaries. I've now separated that line into this line and this line. I can do the same thing here. And if we trim this, you'll note that I've trimmed between these two boundary lines, right? And that's how trim actually works. So we just trim that, and we trim that, and we trim that. And if you have a line that has no boundary, right, or only one boundary, if you have a freestanding line, trim will delete the line. So there's that too. We could trim that, and we'll make a little triangle. We'll delete that. Trim is a very, very useful tool. I use it a lot. I'm able to draw a cutoff point, and then I can trim an object. So that's the trim tool. It has very few options. The basic option, the first option, all object mode, is the one that I use almost exclusively. So that's trim.